Welcome to Armchair Expert. I'm Dax Shepard. I'm joined by Emmy-nominated Monica Padman.
I'm here.
And we are about to talk to someone. I don't even know if he's ever been nominated for an Emmy, but most certainly he's going to get nominated for an Emmy for his new show.
He should, yeah.
You've already heard us talk about it, The Righteous Gemstones. We're so pumped about it. It's the funniest show I've seen in years.
So good.
Tasty. You've probably guessed it already. Our guest is Daniel McBride, a.k.a. Danny McBride. Certainly fallen in love with him in Eastbound and Down, Vice Principals, Pineapple Express, Alien Covenant for a dramatic turn.
Ooh.
And The Foot Fist Way, one of the best independent movies I've ever seen. Look, we're just stone cold obsessed with Danny.
That's right. Yeah.
And what a guy. I got to say,
What?
I was intimidated by him.
You were?
I was. I really wanted him to like me.
I understand.
There's an old trope of mine.
He was so nice, though. Pretty much the nicest person that's come through here.
Oh, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put him. This is new info because
Okay.
I haven't put anyone on the Soul Spectrum in a while. Danny's absolutely a 9 on the Soul Spectrum.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I could see that.
He's in the realm of the Bill Murrays and Richard Pryors on the Soul Spectrum.
I get that.
I mean, how comfortable was he in his skin?
He was.
Looked luxurious. Okay, enough of our opinion. Let's let you hear Danny McBride. We get support from Quince.
So we've been talking about Quince a lot lately, and as we head into fall, it's the perfect time to reset your wardrobe with their amazing pieces. I think it's so fun to do when the seasons turn over to just spruce up your wardrobe with a couple specials, and Quince is the place.
Totally. We're talking organic cotton, Mongolian cashmere, tailored chinos from just $60. Premium fit and quality you'd expect from a luxury brand designer. I love Quince. You know, I like it understated and subtle, and I like stuff that has high quality. And Quince checks all those boxes.
I love a lot of stuff from Quince. Honestly, they have incredible premium denim, which is very important for fall. It's pretty much all I wear in the fall is denim. And Quince has such a good selection of quality denim. Their stuff is so versatile, timeless, and built to last that you just grab every single day without thinking.
Right. And all of that for 50 to 80% less than similar brands. They go direct to ethical factories, cut out the middlemen, so you get all that quality without overpaying for it.
We love that. And they do way more than clothes. They have bedding, cookware, bath essentials, travel must-haves, same deal, and great quality.
Upgrade your everyday. Download the Quince app for app-exclusive offers or go to quince.com/dax. Get free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada and the UK too. That's QUINCE.com/dax. We are supported by Walden University. You know that feeling when you've been thinking about making a move, going after the degree, the promotion, the thing you keep telling yourself you'll get to someday? Walden University is built for that moment. For over 50 years, Walden has helped working professionals get the W, the knowledge, the skills, and the confidence to create real change in their careers and communities. Their programs are designed around your life, not the other way around. With Tempo Learning available in select programs, there are no rigid schedules or set weekly deadlines. You move at your own pace. And Walden's faculty aren't just academics. They're practitioners who bring real-world experience into everything they teach. From your first class to career coaching and beyond, Walden is your partner the whole way. Take the first step and learn at a pace that works for you. Visit waldenu.edu. Walden University. Set a course for change. Certified to operate by Chev.
He's an armchair expert. He's an armchair expert. He's an armchair expert. He's an armchair expert.
Wobby Wob, ABR, always be recording.
Oh, beautiful.
Danny, first of all, it's rare that I've seen the thing that someone's promoting for whatever reason, but I watched your thing last night, and it's fucking phenomenal. I've been talking all day about it.
Making
I
us
never,
all jealous that we haven't seen it yet.
The Righteous Gemstone, I watched episodes 1 and 2 last night, and it is flawless. It's my
thank
favorite
you.
thing you've done. So well directed, it's crazy. We're going to get into all that, but I think there's a through line for why you would even make that show in your whole life story. So normally I would save your project for the end of the thing, but I feel like it's going to be very relevant for...
Okay.
Yes. So this show, you wrote it and directed it. Mm-hmm. It's about a mega church. I mean, it is gorgeous. The fucking helicopter shots with the 3 AMGs and following them on the fucking roads and just the sets. It's beautiful. In a nutshell, it's a big mega church. Your dad, John Goodman, is the patriarch.
He's the head of the deal. Yep.
Head honcho. And then you and your brother are kind of, I guess, vying for who's second.
The story of the Gemstones is basically, John Goodman's character Eli and then Amy Lee, who you will meet deeper in the series, who is played by Jennifer Nettles, that country music singer. And they were this like dynamic Christian televangelist duo. She's passed on and dad's kind of lost. And he's like looking to his children to maybe fill the void, but it's all in vain because the children do not have the tools to step up into the position.
Yeah, the apples fell real far from that tree.
Who plays the other sibling?
Edie Patterson, who was in Vice Principals, she plays Judy, and I instantly just loved working with her on Vice Principals. The first day she came on the set, she just had me cracking up, and her role was only supposed to be something pretty small, and I ended up kind of adjusting the whole show a little bit of like incorporating her into the show more. And she's just awesome. She's so funny, and when Vice Principals was over, I wanted to try to do something else with her. A lot of times I feel like when you get comedic men and women in something together, it's always like a romantic thing. It's and it just felt like that was boring. So even after Vice Principals, we're like, we need to be like siblings in something so we can beat the shit out of each other. And it's not about whether we're going to like be in love with each other or not. We can just go toe to toe. And so we had that idea. And then as I started kind of developing this, it sort of like made sense to fit her in that way.
And then your brother is
Adam Devine.
Adam Devine, who's really fantastic.
So
I'm trying to think of the word he jumbles, and I was so
Wobbles.
Yes. I was wondering if that was like an accident that you kept in, or
I still don't know. It's the only time he did it, but I had to keep it in.
Kristen and I watched it like 4 times in a row. He kept hitting 10 seconds.
Wobbles.
Yeah. What's he trying? He's trying to say marbles.
I think so.
But it's like then he tries to say his mind in there as well or something. It's hysterical, but it has the gravity of Succession. Do you watch Succession?
I don't watch it, but I need to because they're going to be our lead-in.
Oh my God.
That'll be perfect.
It's Monica and I's favorite show, I think.
Love it. It's up there.
We're
It's
looking
very
so
high.
forward to it coming back. But it definitely has a Succession vibe.
That's awesome.
All these shitty children kind of, trying to get it.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's where we're at in the world, right? Just
Right?
everyone's shitty and we have to figure out how not to be shitty.
Yes.
Yeah.
So when I look at your 3 shows that you've created, Eastbound and Down, and then Vice Principals, and then now this, to me, the thing that I'm attracted to is it seems like you are just inherently interested in exposing kind of like people that are on a pedestal or celebrated or loved, and then just kind of showing that they too are pieces of shit or scumbags. There's like maybe an inherent interest in just maybe hypocrisy. Would you say that you're drawn to that?
I definitely am. And I'm drawn to things where like people use their job to kind of define who they are. And they think that there's certain values that obviously they would have if they have this job. And then seeing that, no, they don't have any of these values. And, that was kind of the riff on Eastbound, was sort of the idea that you've seen that story before of like small town boy goes off to the big city, makes it big, and comes back a hero. And in our version, it's like, no, he comes back a villain. He's like, worse. This experience fucked him up. And even with Vice Principals, it's the same kind of thing. As you've seen this kind of classic story of a buddy comedy where like 2 unlikely people join together to go like do something together, and they bond and become better people. And so we wanted to kind of just take that and just make them do something totally malicious and evil, and you're just like, whoa, I don't know if I want these guys to like achieve what they're trying to do.
Yeah. Eastbound and Down, I felt like I was going to like it immediately because it's a reference to Smokey and the Bandit, right? Eastbound and Down, Headed Up and Trucking.
Yep.
Did you love Smokey and the Bandit as a kid?
I did. I love Smokey and the Bandit. And then when we were making that show, I was like, Kenny Powers, he basically thinks that he's Burt Reynolds, like in a Burt Reynolds movie. Like, so all the way he approaches women, people around him, he thinks he's Burt Reynolds. And so when I was talking to Adam McKay, who was one of the executive producers on it, we were trying to come up with what the name of the show was going to be. And I was like, it needs to feel like this is a Burt Reynolds movie, like if it like Eastbound and Down or something. And he was just like, that just should be what it is. I'm like, well, can it be that? Are we allowed to call it that?
Right.
Lyrics from a song from another movie.
Do we got to get Jerry Reed on the phone and see what's happening with him? But you were born in Georgia, but you moved to Virginia. What age did you move to Virginia?
I kind of bounced around. I was born in Georgia, and then I lived in California for a real little bit of time. My dad was a guard in the prison in Lompoc there, and so we lived on the prison reservation there for, I guess, about 3 years. And
No
then he
kidding.
got transferred to the Federal Bureau of Prisons, so we moved to D.C., and then that's what brought me to Virginia. And then I grew up in Virginia then.
Okay. And you're saying your dad, is it your dad or your stepdad?
That's my dad.
Mom and dad got divorced, though?
They got divorced when I was in about sixth grade.
Sixth grade. What's dad's demeanor when he comes home from a day at Lompoc?
Yeah, I can barely remember. I mean, like, I have such small memories of living on that prison reservation. What's crazy is that I went to a wedding there near Lompoc a few years ago. And I was kind of like, I was like talking to my wife. I'm like, I wonder if I could find where this house was. And I used like Google Earth and was just trying to like, because I remembered my walk from the bus stop. And so I like found where the bus stop was and then started kind of like trying to use my mind to go back. And I ended up finding the exact house. And all these houses look the same on the prison reservation.
Yeah, or they were built like some post-World War II kind
Yeah,
of
exactly.
thing.
And they're all just kind of the same. I mean, my only real like strong memory from there is I remember like specifically one night sleeping and then an air horn, like an air siren going off. There had been a prison break that like someone had escaped. And like my dad is getting up, loading a fucking gun. And we are all like being put into the master bedroom and lock the door. And I like look out the window and he just like jumps into a pickup truck with a bunch of my friends' dads who are all armed, just going off to go find the prisoner.
Going on a human hunt. Wow. Were you just excited by it or were you scared or were you like, oh, something great is happening?
I don't think I realized like what all it really was until we kind of got out of there. And then I kind of looked back on it. I was like, that's crazy that was what his job was and that we were living there.
Yeah, raising children in the shadow of a prison.
Of a
like,
penitentiary.
like you moved across the country, I'm assuming half for your kids, right? Like, I want to give them kind of
Yeah.
a nice
100%.
real
yeah.
childhood. And the last place you go is like,
It's in the shadow of a
yeah,
state
Rikers
pen.
Island in a houseboat, just moored right up. Right. But to bring folks up to speed about my personal journey with you is that you were in Foot Fist Way. I loved it. I thought it was the greatest thing ever. And then you and I were up for the same movie, Land of the Lost.
Oh, were we really? That's insane.
We were up for that movie, and I had met with the director, and it was one of those rare ones where I'm like, I think I'm getting this. Like, this guy and I really see eye to eye. And then you got it, and I did not. And
You're welcome, by the way. I took that bullet for you.
Well, it is funny if you live long enough, all the stuff you had to have and what you got and how it shook out is all never what you think. But I transitioned from a fan to just jealous of you. And then I saw you on Sam Jones off camera, and it's one of my favorite interviews I've ever watched in my life. And then I got your email from somebody, and I sent you an email just kind of owning, you didn't need to know this, but I needed to say this. Like, I went from being a huge fan to being very jealous of you, and then discovering I love you, and I should have always loved you, and I just wanted to own it. And it came at a time, this interview, and what was really crystal clear about you in that interview was you, seemingly at least, you might be a good bullshitter, are doing this for the right reason, the reason I would hope to always be doing these things, which is like you love hanging out with your friends and being creative, and you've prioritized that. And I was so blown away by it, and I was feeling low career-wise, and I just found it incredibly inspirational. All that to say, in that interview, when I was watching you from the outside, I was always like, is he a redneck? Or is he someone that grew up with rednecks and has the same love and obsession with them that I did?
Growing up, if I would have thought like, oh, you're going to make a career for yourself by like playing a character with a mullet, it would have been like the last thing I would have ever imagined. But it really did just kind of come from, you know, Jody Hill, David Green, myself. We all grew up in southern towns, and we're all guys who like went off to art school, you know?
Right,
and,
right.
So we were always sort of spectators in southern culture and never really feeling like we were 100%. You know, especially me, I moved to the South when I was, I guess, in second grade. So it's like I'm friends with kids who like their parents have the thickest southern accents, and my mom's from Philadelphia, and you know, my dad.
You're a Yankee.
Yeah, and so it's like, you know, I appreciate the Southern culture big time, and I like being a part of it. I think it's like a nice community. But at the same time, I had perspective on it because I was a little bit of an outsider to it. So, some of these characters are all just basically people I feel like I grew up around. or
Dudes you
witnessed.
probably
Yeah.
watched that were 5 years older than you.
Exactly,
Holding
yeah.
court and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I don't know, my town, again, it wasn't Southern, it was in Michigan, but a great many of the people that lived there had all migrated up from Kentucky. And so there was I've yet to observe it elsewhere, just a hyper masculinity
Oh, yeah.
that was just like either you were that or you were nobody.
Yeah, it totally.
So it's interesting because I then arrived here, and I think for people here in Hollywood, I'm the closest version of that they know. Most people in California too, they're looking at you the same way, like, oh, he's that guy, but you were an artistic kid, right?
I was. And people will ask me, like, do you get upset if people think that you're Kenny Powers or this? And I guess to me, I don't have that much of an ego when it comes to it. So I don't really care how people see me or not, but I kind of honestly take it as like a compliment, the idea that the character feels so realized that they assume that it must not be a performance.
You're right. That's the ultimate compliment. I would have assumed you were pursuing acting like that. I mean, you're so funny. You're just so funny. I was like, oh, that guy's always been a comedian. That's what he's done. And then in that interview, I found out, no, you went to film school to be a filmmaker, right?
Yep. And we, the art school we went to, it's a state school in North Carolina. And so there's different concentrations. There's like, you go there to be a modern dancer. You could go there to design sets, to be an actor, to do film, to do music. And for whatever reason at the time, the dean at the time did not want the drama students like mixing with the film students. He thought that they would like ruin their craft or what they were trying to teach.
Oh.
So then we were sort of forced to just like put each other in each other's movies. So then I would just start acting just because I could like memorize lines better than my other friends could. And that was basically it.
You knew how to stand on the dot on the ground
exactly.
and say words. You had read that this
I could
morning.
kind of like look out of the bottom of my eye and hit a mark without looking down. Yeah.
Yeah, you were saying your first kind of acting was doing a favor for David Green?
Yeah, he had an actor drop out of All the Real Girls. David Green, he was a year ahead of me in film school. He lived next door to me in the dorms. And so he was one of the first guys I met at School of the Arts. And I just instantly thought he was awesome. I liked what the weird shit he was making. I just thought that he was unique and he had this vision. And I kind of like wanted to just like follow in his footsteps there because I liked what he was doing there. And right after he graduated, he brought this little tiny movie, George Washington. He came back to school to Winston-Salem, and we shot that movie like the day after I graduated from college. We did it like in 14 days. And then, everybody's trying to figure out what they're going to do with their lives. Like I'm moving to Los Angeles with my girlfriend and my buddies, and we're trying to figure it out. And then meanwhile, like David's being interviewed by Charlie Rose all of a sudden. And he's like, like listed as one of the top 10 movies of that year by like Roger Ebert. And so it was kind of cool to have somebody that you knew and had seen where they'd come from, like find the success. And I think it kind of like motivated everybody like, oh, this is actually possible.
Yeah, it's achievable.
Yeah.
But you did move to LA, and then you were coming out here primarily to be a writer. Is that what you wanted to be?
That's what I was trying to do. I was trying to write. I was trying to figure out how to direct. And, and it just became clear. I was like, the directing thing is not going to happen because there's other people who've actually directed things, and that's who people are going to hire to do stuff. So I was like, it's probably better to spend my time trying to write because I can go wait tables at the Crocodile Cafe.
Oh my God, in Santa Monica?
In Burbank.
In Burbank.
The less cool crocodile.
Because when my mom would visit me in Santa Monica, that was my big meal out. She'd be like, you want to go to Crocodile Cafe while I'm visiting?
Yeah,
I'm like, oh, I do.
Those
So
rolls and tortilla soup are really good. I would have to prep those all the time. But, when I was like doing that stuff, I could come home and it was like, I'd make myself write or do stuff. And it kind of felt like writing was something too that it could be undeniable. Like if you write something and it works and you're able to get it into somebody's hands, that was like probably the most realistic way of trying to find a niche into things,
But you were also at some point in this, you were a camera operator, yeah?
I was. So I moved out here and I was waiting tables. I ended up getting a job at the Holiday Inn in Burbank. They hired me as the night manager. And so I was like, that would mean that I was like the manager of like the restaurant and the karaoke bar and the Crystal View Lounge on the roof of the Holiday Inn. But it was at nighttime, so like nobody was ever there.
You're telling me that place wasn't thriving?
The karaoke bar was a scene, but nothing else really was really worth stopping in. But I would just sit there and just write. write all night long. Like there was nothing going on. So I would just sit in this back office of this closed down kitchen and just spend all my time writing. And then like, I'd come into work the next day and the manager the next day was like, why is all the printer paper gone? Like, fuck you.
So how'd you end up operating a camera?
So I had a buddy who worked at this post-production company in the Valley, and they did a lot of work. I mean, this isn't even a job anymore because like technology's like aced it out, but it was this thing called motion control, but we would use it in regards to like still photographs. So it's like that Ken Burns effect of you put a still photograph down and it like you zoom into the
Makes
face
it-
of
yeah.
the settler,
And it doesn't it plane out a couple of things too? Like
yeah,
the
exactly.
background gets separated somehow.
Yeah, exactly. And so, he was doing this for History Channel, Behind the Music, all that. So I got a job doing that for a while. We got to actually work on some cool shit doing it. We got to work with Stacy Peralta on that Dogtown and Z-Boys.
Yeah, that was cool.
That was pretty awesome. But it was basically just sitting around all day long looking at still photographs coming in and just like pushing in and pushing out on them for a few years.
Yeah, what would you do? Would you have like some macro lens and you would focus just on some aspect and it would blur out everything else?
Yeah, well, I feel like we pioneered this effect because there was only like 3 people in the country that were even doing this. It's like it was such a rare thing, and then somebody invented a plugin in the Avid that just does it in there. Like, put us all out of business.
Yeah.
But we would even like cock the pictures up sideways so there'd be like some like depth, and you could like rack between people, and then we had our bosses looking at us like, yes, these guys are innovators. Like,
Well, I don't want to make too big a deal out of it, but I will not forget the first time I saw that in a fucking documentary. I was like, what's happening here? They shot this with 2 cameras. It's 3D. What? I don't even have the glasses on. I felt like it was a tidal paradigm shift. I was into it.
it was interesting. And then even at the time, I kind of felt like I'd been out in LA at that point for like maybe 3 or 4 years. And I kind of felt like, you know what, this is a steady gig. If it doesn't go any further than this, it could be worse. You know, I could still be at the Crocodile Cafe. And so I felt a little like hypnotized into
little
just
comfortable.
like, maybe this is it. I'll have benefits. I'll have health insurance.
Yeah.
And then David called about All the Real Girls and wanted to see if I was there. And I'm like, man, I just got a steady job. Man, what are you trying to do?
Yeah.
And so, but it like woke me up from my haze, and I like quit the job and like went down there to go do that. That just kind of woke me up and was like, man, you know what? I came out here for a purpose. I need to not just settle for something. I need to kind of be uncomfortable until I get to where I really want to be.
Yeah. And what's your overall temperament? Are you an optimist or are you pessimistic?
I think I'm pretty optimistic when it comes. I kind of felt like when I got out to LA, I was like, I didn't feel like the competition was stiff. I felt like it was a matter of just being able to persevere, because I felt like a lot of people were not really putting their all into it. I would see people complaining about not getting where they want, but at the same time, they weren't really working on it. They would like sign up for a class, an improv class, and think that it should all just happen, or you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
it didn't feel like the people around me were really working hard on it. I was like, I can do this. I can stick this out. I just have to figure out how to get a job that doesn't make me want to kill myself in the meantime.
Right. So you go do that movie, and then how quick after that is Foot Fist Way?
So I think that was 2003 was that movie. And so then it was kind of like, oh, maybe this is what I want to do. And I came back to Los Angeles and then was like, you know what, I'm going to move back to, I moved back and forth between like Virginia or North Carolina and Los Angeles like multiple times. I'm done with here. I'm going to go home and try to write. I just constantly I think it was because I was just failing, and I was trying to fail on my own terms and not, and like kind
Sure.
of own the failing.
Yeah.
And after All the Real Girls, yeah, I kind of was like, you know what? I need to focus on the writing. I need to get out of Los Angeles. I'm going to go live at my parents' house for a bit, and I won't have to work as hard, and I can spend all my time writing. Came back to Los Angeles after we shot that, and then I met who is my wife now. I met her like the first like week I came back to LA. And I was only planning to be in LA for like a month. I was just going to come back here and basically pack my shit up and put it all into a storage unit and drive across country. I met who's my wife now. I met her. And we just instantly hit it off. And I was
Where'd
like,
you meet?
We just met at like, I lived in this apartment complex on like Fairfax and Santa Monica, right around there. And we was just, it looked like the Karate Kids apartment complex. It was a shithole. And she knew somebody that like lived in the apartment, completely random, just bumped into her. And yeah, it was like, God, fuck, I just met this girl, and now I'm like moving back to Virginia, and I didn't really know what to do. And so I asked her if she wanted to drive cross country with me. This was like only like 4 weeks into dating. It was like, you know, why don't we just like, this could be the grand send off. We'll go on this trip and then we can say goodbye to each other. And we just had this like incredible cross country experience. I mean, like we're eating mushrooms in Utah together and going down to New Orleans, and just had this amazing time. And then
Forgot where you were even going.
yeah, and I spent all the fucking money I had saved up too on the trip. So like, I was, I said goodbye to her at the airport, and that was supposed to be our like goodbye. And then both of us were like not ready for it. So then I found myself just like broke at my parents' house, and I couldn't go back to Los Angeles now because I didn't even have any money for like a security deposit or even gas or anything. So she was sort of the beacon. I was like, you know what? I need to knuckle in. I'll get a job here. I'll save up money, and then I'll do some writing, and I'll come back out there. And so I ended up like living at my parents' house for like, I guess about like 8 months, and I was bartending.
Is she an actor?
She's not. When I met her, she worked with like deaf and blind students at LA City College. She was just kind of like would help students with special needs. Yeah, and I just liked that. I liked meeting somebody that didn't like have any interest in what this industry was. I thought it was like refreshing out here.
Yeah, I went the other direction, but yeah.
You went in, but she seems pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got a job bartending at night, and then I was like substitute teaching in the daytime. And that was kind of like where the idea for Eastbound and Down kind of came from. Is like I was there subbing, and then like felt like I had to like weirdly explain myself to these high school kids that I had real dreams and visions, and that I wasn't like going to be around here long. And that's sort of like
There's nothing better than like worrying that these kids understand like I have a bigger mission just so you pieces of shit know I don't belong here. So let's get into it. Everyone open your book.
It's exactly it. And that was really where Kenny Powers came from, was just that idea that I thought that I was like somehow better than this living on my parents' couch. But yeah, I moved back to Los Angeles then, had my money, moved back in, got a job with a better motion control company, was making real money. And then Jody Hill was like, I want to go make this movie in North Carolina. Would you want to do this? And I was like, yeah, let's definitely do it.
And is that is he from there, or just because y'all had gone to school there?
He's from Concord, North Carolina, and he actually, when he was in high school, like he started a Taekwondo studio in Concord. Yeah,
because he genuinely loves Taekwondo.
He genuinely was into it. Yeah, Jody was like bullied when he was young, and so he got into like Taekwondo and martial arts.
Yeah. Have you ever talked to Seth Rogen about the fact that he was a real avid martial arts student?
It's pretty awesome.
I was like, where do you think your confidence comes from? He's like, I think karate. And I'm like, well, that's not the answer I was expecting.
It weirdly does. I used to make bad grades in elementary school. Like I didn't pay attention or anything was my problem. And I started martial arts when I was like in 5th grade. And then all of a sudden, like my grades turned around overnight. I wasn't like fidgeting with my balls all the time. I was able to like be calm and
no kidding. So you genuinely had studied it too?
I studied it for 3 years, and I liked it. I thought it was cool. But then what happened to me is I got good at it, and my like sensei saw like promise in me, so he moved me up to the advanced class, and I was like 12 years old. And I was just getting my fucking ass beat by 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds that I ended up just quitting. I just didn't like it anymore.
Now, did you originally get into it because you liked martial arts movies, or were you fearful of the guys around you?
I don't know what it was. I think it was just probably from movies. Like growing up in the 80s, like ninjas were like the coolest thing you could be.
Absolutely.
I had a bunch of throwing stars, and so I thought somehow that like taking martial arts, Ishinru karate at the Parks and Rec would teach me how to master these throwing stars.
Yeah. I had homemade nunchucks that I had made out of like a doll I cut in half and put like a fucking plant hook in the end, and I would be fucking really getting into it, and one would just fly off and like go through the drywall, and I'd have to explain it to my mom. And I had all these knives. I wasn't really allowed to have a knife, so I was like fashioning all these kitchen knives into my own collection of knives and stuff.
My son does the same thing. Like he doesn't even watch. I mean, culturally, obviously, like ninjas don't have the power they used to have, unfortunately. But like even my son's the same way. I mean, like from when he was super little, he was always turning things into weapons all the time. Yeah, I don't know what it is.
It's bad genetics for us.
Yeah.
So you do Foot Fist Way. I know this guy. There's a bunch of them in my town, and you guys must have made that in short shoot, I would imagine.
Yeah, I think it was like maybe 16 or 17 days.
And where'd they get the money for it?
Jody, him and his brother and his dad, like basically put it on credit cards.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I think we made the whole thing for like 70 grand. And then we shot it on film. It was shot on 16. Yeah. And then when it got into Sundance, like we had to finish the movie. So then the movie's budget like blew up to like $400,000 to like get it rushed and get it into the festival and everything. But it was wild. I mean, honestly, to this day, it's still, I think, my favorite thing that I've ever done. Like that feeling of us just doing it ourselves, and like when it was over with, like how excited we were, and like we partied our asses off for like the next like 18 hours. We like wrapped at like I think like 7 a.m. and we were like up partying. You know, we never stopped drinking until like the next day. Like, I guess we should get into the edit room at some point, but we did it.
You go to Sundance with that, and just even like submitting it, you have a feeling when you wrap it, right? Which is like, oh my God, we did this. We shot every word on the page, and we went to all the locations, and we did it. And then there's, of course, you go through the second phase of editing it, and then maybe your perspective shifts a bit. But you could you feel like, oh, we did something great, cool.
I couldn't tell. Like, it was one of those things, like, even just seeing me in it was kind of a little bit like, well, this doesn't seem like a real movie. I'm in it. And, and then, and, you know, it was like, even what that movie is, it's not like, it's kind of similar to what we do now, where, like, it doesn't hold to the standards of a genre, like, weirdly too dark in places.
Yeah.
Other times it's silly. So there was like a tone thing that I was like, you know, are people going to get this? You know, going to that art school, we were friends with a bunch of musicians. Like that was like the other guys we'd hang out with all the time were these like very talented group of musicians, like Ben Best, who created Eastbound with us. He was a musician, and this guy Joey Stevens, who still does all of our scores and soundtracks now. And we just basically turned to those guys and were like, help us make sense of this tone. We need like a fucking soundtrack that rocks and like lets people know when it's okay to laugh and when it's okay to like feel real emotion, so we can kind of cue the audience into knowing that we're in on these tonal shifts.
Yeah.
And so those guys like really, I think, helped bring it together. And then we've like, that's just been our recipe for everything, is that we really like zero in on what the music is, because I think the music just really helps no matter what it is, if it's Vice Principals or even in Gemstones. Helps you just like the audience know that like this tonal shift is not an accident. You're on for something here.
Yeah, I think the first time I became aware of that watching movies was like how Scorsese would use that. Like he would have this great, raucous, fun Rolling Stones song while someone's getting their ass kicked. And you're like, oh, good, I'm allowed to enjoy this.
Yeah,
This music's telling me I can enjoy it.
Exactly.
But, you know, and I'll do this several times while we talk, and I am in no way implying I'm making the same level of shit you are, but I have made shit, and I will say, I too have a sense of humor that I think, because I grew up around a lot of violence and I was fucking blackout drunk for years, I think that stuff's really funny because I've lived through it. But then you start showing it to like an audience and you realize like, ooh, my personality, like scarier stuff that I find funny is a little too much for people.
We get that all the time. Like people will constantly talk to us about like, when do you think you've gone too far? And I'm just like, I don't even think about any of this stuff being far at all. Like I feel like it just seems normal to me.
Yeah. The testing part can get a little, you like it checks your compass a little bit.
100%. You know, honestly, the testing part is what kind of made me like shift my priorities once I started to finally get into this industry and figure out what I want to put my time in. When we had to get like, I mean, I think Foot Fist Way, I don't know why they even tested it, but they tested it. It scored like a 36. It was like
Sure.
a bomb. And then I realized, I was like, man, there's nothing we make that's going to survive this testing process, because we're intentionally trying to put people off with some of these things. And so that's going to be reflected in these scores, and it's always going to equal the same thing, that none of this shit's going to score well. The studio's going to lose interest in it. They're not going to like...
They're not betting
$60
on $million
yeah, and then we're going to have
37.
Yeah, we'll have a fart come out, and then everyone will like be less inclined to do it with us next time.
Yeah. Well, what's interesting is we now live in a niche model, but you didn't when you first had opportunities. It was very much still like, no, it's got to be as broadly appealing as possible.
100%.
But now it's all about niche, you know, like
Totally.
Fleabag. I love. Have you seen Fleabag?
Yep. Yeah, it's great.
Fucking phenomenal. There's no way that appeals to everyone, but the people it appeals to, it's like that's my religion, that show.
Yep.
And it's awesome that that's the environment now. But at the beginning, it's rough.
Yeah, and I feel like it's TV. I feel like with movies, so much has become about what those numbers are in the first weekend that it just like that's the story, that's the narrative. Where with television, I feel like it's more about people finding shows and sharing it with their friends, and it feels like a more organic way to like discover something, I think.
Yeah, the days of like these movies would just hang out for 3-4 months and they'd gain momentum over the years. Like that just doesn't now happen.
Just to make you feel good about not getting Land of the Lost, me conquering you for that role. I remember when that, like, you know, I had a blast on that movie, and it was just an interesting thing to kind of see, like, oh man, I don't really know what's up. I mean, I thought that people would like this, but people hate this. And
With the most likable man in the world as the lead.
And so like, and you can sense that before the movie's coming out, like, ooh, okay, the initial feedback is there's not many people wanting to do pieces on the cast, and and you can kind of feel it. And we were up in New York getting ready to do press for it, and the movie was coming out like in 2 days, and I was like in a hotel room with Will Ferrell and Jimmy Miller. Jimmy Miller was like, yeah, this is the time that you just like hold on to your family, like focus on what's important. Like, oh, this isn't going to go well this weekend. And so I was like, you know what, I'm just going to go down to Virginia and just like hang out with my friends. No one down there gives a shit about movies, and I'll just let this weekend go past. So I like caught up with some buddies, and like we went out on this boat, and we're out in the middle of fucking nowhere. I mean, like it's some like redneck dump bar that you can only get to by a boat. And we're out there and we're hanging. I haven't been looking at the trades or anything, watching to see how the movie's going to do. And these like two rednecks come up to us and they like recognize me, and they're like, "Oh yeah, you're in that movie, man. Y'all are getting your ass kicked this weekend." It was like Saturday at noon. I'm like, how the fuck do these guys know about Box Office Mojo?
Two dudes who had drove a fan boat up to the bar. To just catching alligators. I mean, even worse, I saw you got a C- Cine score, so it's only going to do a 2-time multiple at best.
It's exactly right. But that was like a weird turning point for me, where I'm like, man, if these guys are paying attention to the box office, it's like, you know, if that's the judgment of success, this is over for anybody who wants to make anything left of center.
Oh, I noticed it. Like, I've been watching 60 Minutes since I was a kid at my grandparents' house, and I started noticing when they would do, like, they have the little breaks in 60 Minutes where they give you a little sports update, like in the second act, and then they'll give you a little financial update, right? Like what the Dow did that week. And they started including box office results, and I was like, "Oh, this
crazy.
Why is this on 60 Minutes?" And it did become like almost a sports preoccupation.
Yeah, well, because you think about it, it's like stocks make sense because people could be watching that could actually benefit from a stock going up or down. But with that, it's just like people really care how much money Warner Brothers makes this weekend.
Right.
You know, it's kind of odd.
Yeah, it is strange.
Stay tuned for more Armchair Expert, if you dare.
We get support from Apple Gift Card. Back to school is here, and for many, that means some big life transitions. Whether they are heading into a new grade or setting up a dorm for the first time, you want to give them something that actually supports their growth and success. Apple Gift Card is a versatile solution because it takes the guesswork out of gifting. It's not just about a new pair of AirPods for focus. It's about giving them the invaluable chance to choose the digital tools and subscriptions that suit their unique journey. They can use it for productivity apps on the App Store, movie nights on Apple TV, or extra iCloud storage for all those new memories. With Apple Gift Card, it's so empowering to give the students their freedom to allocate their own resources. Celebrate their new academic chapter. Visit applegiftcard.apple.com to celebrate their milestones and gift one today. This episode is brought to you by SoFi, the all-in-one finance app where you can bank, borrow, and invest all in one place.
Let's talk bank accounts for a second. The average bank savings rate is 0.39% in interest. You're earning pennies on your savings, but it does not have to be that way.
With SoFi high-yield checking and savings, the money barely making moves sitting in your savings account can earn over 8 times the national average savings rate with eligible direct deposit.
No account or overdraft fees, which feels rare these days. You can get your paycheck up to 2 days early, perfect for getting ahead of a bill or grabbing what you need right when you need it.
Plus, get up to a $300 welcome bonus when you sign up with eligible direct deposit. Sign up for SoFi checking and savings at SoFi.com/armchair. SoFi checking and savings is offered through SoFi Bank N.A., member FDIC. Terms apply. This episode is brought to you by ServiceNow. Look, I have my dream job. I get to talk to folks I admire like crazy and ask them virtually any question that I want to. I can't imagine a better way to spend my time. But even dream jobs have some not so dreamy parts, the stuff that gets in the way of the actual work. Now, that's where ServiceNow's AI specialists come in. They don't just tell you what you should do about your busy work. They actually do it, start to finish. Cases closed, requests handled, no extra work for you. So you and your team can focus on what matters most, which for me is, are they obsessed with male bodies on the same level as I am?
They never are.
To learn how to put AI to work for people, visit servicenow.com.
Living your best life means being extra where it counts and skipping the extra where you don't need it. Like in your cleaning products. That's where Seventh Generation comes in. Their bio-based cleaning power delivers a powerful clean with nothing extra in the bottle. Need a dish soap that cuts through the tough grease? A detergent that tackles the worst stains and odors? Seventh Generation handles it all without any dyes or artificial fragrances. Real clean doesn't have to come with a long list of add-ons. Upgrade to a powerful clean without anything extra. Look for Seventh Generation dish soap and laundry detergent wherever you shop for your cleaning products.
But once Foot Fist Way came out, you then went to Sundance, and then of course it was definitely a movie that comedians watched, So I'm assuming, I don't know this part of the story, but I assume Will and Adam kind of discovered it, and they kind of
we got into Sundance and we're all like over the moon. We couldn't really believe that had happened, and it was like, oh, this is crazy, that we're gonna get to go to Sundance. So the whole crew that made the movie, we rented like one house in Park City. There was it ended up being like 30 people staying in like a 2-bedroom house. Like everyone was sick for like 4 months after that. It was like everyone just spread some
hepatitis C.
But we went there, and it was just that I feel like this is how just things are in general with careers, is like you always kind of imagine and get excited about the possibilities, and then it's always below that is what happens. And so, we're going there wondering like, what if there's a fucking bidding war? What if this and what if that?
Yeah.
And then we go, and the very first screening we have, it's like a midnight screening. Can't sleep. I can't eat anything. We're so nervous. Whole theater's packed. There's a line outside. It's like, oh, this is pretty awesome. The movie starts, and like 10 minutes into the movie, half the theater just gets up and walks out of the movie. And we were just like, oh my God, what's going on? And I was like, man, is it that bad? And it turned out, I guess, the movie that had screened right before, I think it was like The Science of Sleep or something. There was like a bidding war for it. So it was all the executives were like getting up and like getting into this bidding war. But it was like the most like, ooh, feeling. And then it's like we didn't get an offer on the movie while we were there. So we kind of like went to Sundance with this like champion spirit, and we kind of like left like, well, we got parkas from the experience.
Even the 2-room condo you rented, you're like, oh well, that'll get paid for when we sell this movie.
Yeah,
and now
exactly.
You're like, you leave in debt probably.
I need $20 from anyone who used a towel this weekend. But so we went back to our lives basically. And we're like, well, okay, we'll see what happens. Yeah, and then it just after Sundance, it started just getting passed around, and then we suddenly got this phone call, that Adam and Will were interested in it, and then suddenly, like out of nowhere, we're just sitting down and meeting with guys that I was like watching on TV like the week before, and now they're like sitting down asking what we want to do.
Did you have favorites at that time? Were you even drawn to comedy?
We were looking at what we were doing was like what Scorsese and Altman and these guys are doing. So we weren't even really like looking like we're trying to get into the comedy game at all. But then it was like all these comedy guys that we admired were all like into it. And so then it just, we started to just follow that path of like, this is how this weird thing we did is going to translate into more opportunities.
Right. And when you were writing on the first iteration in LA, what were you writing? Were you writing dramas or comedies?
Man, it was all over the place. Like I was like writing like horror, sci-fi, like all over the place. It wasn't specifically, anything comedic.
Did you have a writing hero?
That was like when I went, I think Pulp Fiction came out my senior year of high school, right before I'm going into film school. So it was like, at that time, it was like, you're studying him and Kevin Smith and what's his name, Ed Burns, and then even Billy Bob Thornton had just made Sling Blade, and so it was all of these like simple concepts that worked,
and they were dialogue driven.
Yep.
Yeah, and I saw Pulp Fiction, and I was like, hold on a second, like there's something here I can relate to. There's something like I've not related to the movies I've seen before, but there's something here that no way did I think I was Quentin Tarantino, but I was like, just that dialogue, that being the inroad to it, I was like, that seems achievable in some way.
100%. And even just the idea of like who Quentin Tarantino was, the idea that like that comes out and then suddenly you're like, oh, he wrote True Romance and he did Punch-Ups on Crimson Tide.
Yes, I remember.
I bet that's his
the
line
whole
right
horse,
there.
The horse thing, right? The white and black horses.
Yeah.
That's true, but do you know they're born black or something was the big turn of that? Yeah, I went down the same nerd hole with him. So I know the first thing I remember is like, oh God, hey, did you hear the dude from Foot Fist Way is in Tropic Thunder? Was that like the first big?
Once Will and Adam picked that up, like we met Judd, we met Seth, we started meeting all those guys. Then I met Lorne Michaels, and I got in the Lonely Island guys, and I got cast in like basically in 2006. My whole life just changed. Then we went to Sundance. Wasn't sure what was going to happen after Sundance, and then all of a sudden I got offered Hot Rod, first like real movie, first paycheck, on location in Vancouver. SAG member, the whole thing. Everything
Soup
was
to nuts.
changing. And I was still so broke at the time that I was like, when are the paychecks coming in for this movie? I still I'm in overdraft. I can't fucking pay for this hotel rooms. Actually, I'll back up for 1 sec. Right before we did Foot Fist Way, I was finally able to quit the motion control job because David Green, he had sold this script to Sam Jones. He got hired to do this story about this motocross racer, Bubba Stewart.
Right.
And so David pulled me on to like write it with him. And so that was like my first taste of like any sort of paycheck at all. And I remember the check was supposed to come like right before Christmas, our like commencement check. But you know how it is with writing stuff. It's like you can wait for like a year to get paid on something.
Yes.
But I was like so broke that I was like, I need this money. I quit my fucking job. I got ahead of this thing. And I can remember the check came like the day before I was supposed to leave to go home to Virginia for Christmas. I had no money for Christmas presents for anybody I knew, and I had already spent half of this money. And so I get the check, and I go to the bank to go cash it, and they're like, yeah, this is going to be like a 15-day charge. Like, you've never had more than like $200 in your bank account. We're not going to fucking like cash this check for $200,000, you know?
Right.
And I'm like, what do you mean? Well, how do I get this fucking money? 15 days from now, what? And they're like, you need to go to the bank that it was written from. So like me and my wife, like we went to Beverly Hills and like we go in there. I need this money in cash. You know? And they fucking give us it in cash. We literally put it in a brown paper bag. It was like we robbed the place. And then I like get back in the car and we were like so like looking at the money like, oh my God, this is fucking insane. And we drive back to Washington Mutual on Fairfax. And I'm like, there, motherfucker, take that cash. Put that in my bag.
Stick some of it up your ass and some of it in my account.
So
you see Dolomites?
Yeah, exactly.
You guys, take these cheap motherfuckers and wipe your ass with them.
But not all of them. I need that. That's the presence.
But please, the majority, just use the ones to wipe your ass, and please put the 50s and 100s in my account. When you went back to your hometown, having just had that fucking paper sack full of cash, are you just like at the bar buying everyone drink? I mean, are you on
100%.
fire?
Yeah, this is never going to end. You know? It's like, wow, you can burn through $200,000 a lot quicker than I thought you could.
Yeah.
But we as like, so after I got Hot Rod, while I was shooting Hot Rod, Seth Rogen and those guys cast me in Drillbit Taylor, which was like another comedy. And then right as I got that, I got cast in Heartbreak Kid. So it was like suddenly, going from no movies at all to 3 movies back to back. Productions were having to negotiate when I was out of one movie and when I could get into the next one. And, and it was just this like whirlwind for these like 6 months of like bouncing between these 3 movies. And I met Ben Stiller on the Heartbreak Kid. And yeah, while we were shooting, he just told me, he's like, hey, I'm doing this movie Tropic Thunder, and there's this role. Would you be interested in this? And he gave me the script, and it was like, I was a fan of Ben's anyway, and I was a fan of his directing too. I always loved The Cable Guy. I thought it was awesome.
Yeah, me too.
And I loved Reality
Again,
Bites.
he was like,
and
it was
I
too
thought
dark.
that Tropic Thunder just to me seemed like this is exactly the kind of movie I love. Like I love that it's violent. I like that it's rated R, and it's like
I love
massive.
Vietnam movies. Now all of a sudden it goes from, holy crap, I can't believe I'm working, to, oh, geez, I probably need to guide this in some direction. Did you have any notion at that time of like, I mean, I guess you were so protected because everything you did, you were with huge stars who.
It's like if they were
cover
tanks,
fire.
no one's like blaming it on me.
Right. But were you thinking about that yet?
You know what? After that first year, I started thinking about it because I was just at this point, I couldn't believe I was even getting the opportunity to do something. It was kind of crazy, the idea of getting a paycheck to do something like this. But as we started doing Eastbound and Down, and we sold the pilot of Eastbound and Down that same year as well. And then as we kind of like got back into like zeroing in with Jody and we're writing this, it kind of like just reminded me of like, I want to do my own thing here, and I need to make sure I don't like ruin all this goodwill, just like appearing in other people's stuff, like blowing all my material out, so that then when I'm like trying to do my shit, it's like people have already seen all the moves and it's over,
Yeah, totally. I'm wondering, would you have set up Eastbound like 2 years later?
When we got into it, after just from doing Foot Fist Way, I just saw the writing on the wall with movies. I really did. I was like, I had to convince Jody that we should try to sell a TV show. He didn't see what the upside of it was at that time, and I'm like, I'm telling you, man, like the way that this movie stuff is going, I didn't know there was anything with this testing. Like, our shit's never going to work here. It will never work. We actively, I feel like, are trying to isolate people sometimes when we make stuff. And I'm like, that's not the recipe for success, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, I would watch it even with, I'd see guys like Seth Rogen, and those guys are so incredible with being able to navigate that testing process. Like, they use that shit as a tool. Like, they're able to, like, go in and they're not offended when the audience doesn't respond to a joke. They're able to, like, use all that stuff constructively and, like, create something that works. And for us, we were like too precious. We couldn't survive that process. We would like get that criticism, and instead of using it and bettering it, we would like double down and be like, these idiots don't know what they're talking
I'm
about.
going to let that beat play 4 seconds longer.
Yeah,
now.
we had the wrong attitude for it. And I think I saw right before we shot the Foot Fist Way was like when Ricky Gervais's The Office came out too. As the comedy goes, like just sitting down and watching that all in one, I was like, man, this thing has affected me more than anything I've seen in theaters lately. Like, this is pretty incredible. And I loved how small it was and that you could sit down and watch it in kind of like one long weekend. Yeah. To me, I was like, this is what we need to do. Like, our comedy would work like this.
Yeah, you're really lucky that you recognize that early on. And it's so true. I was driving home. I was like, what's the last movie I fucking loved in the movie theater? And I can name you 15 shows I've watched in the last 18 months that like it was my whole life for that week, and I fucking love it. And I can't wait for another thing. And it's just it's crazy how it's shifted.
It is.
Me personally, I way prefer television now in general.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many things competing for you that I just find like even the best movies that come out, it's like people talk about them for like a week.
Yeah.
And then it's just kind of over with. It's sad.
Yeah. So what's your wife's name?
My wife's name is Gia.
I wrote that down. Gia, but I think I was confused that it would be Gia.
Yeah, that's what everyone, like, even when I first started dating her, I always like would just kind of like mumble her name. So I'm like, I know it's not Gia.
Just hit the Gia.
Let's go out.
That's what I would do. I was with a gal for 9 years, 7 of those just abject failure, and then started making movies and money. And I started getting to basically realize my dream I had had for so many years. It was not easy on our relationship. All of a sudden, I had money. I was very bad at sharing it in a way that didn't make her feel guilty. Like, I bought her shit, but I reminded her I bought her shit. Or like, I'd complain about a bill I paid, and she'd be like, what the fuck's wrong with you? Like, last year you made $6,000. This year you're making hundreds of thousands. You're offended by the CPK bill. I just was not good at it. I also think our whole relationship, people definitely remembered her more than me. She was way better looking than me and smarter. And then all of a sudden, you know, people remember me everywhere we go. And it was a hard transition. Was yours easy, or did it have challenges?
You know, it had a few little challenges, but, you know, I mean, part of the thing that was awesome about me and Gia is like, we just never fight. I mean, we're one of those like annoying couples that just like, our big fights are like, you know, do you want the comforter? No, I don't want the comforter. Like, are you sure? Look, if you want the comforter, just put the comforter on. So don't ask me if I need the comforter. It's like, that's the extent of our fights. So even just doing this stuff, it's like Gia's an artist. She's like a painter and a photographer and a chef, and she understands this sort of lifestyle, and she's self-sufficient. She can kind of like do her own thing.
The logistics of the career are such that you're going away to shoot Tropic Thunder. I don't know, where were you, at the Philippines or something?
In Kauai, yeah.
Oh, in Kauai. Okay. So she either has to come, right, if you guys want to be together, or I don't know, you guys are all flying back. Anyways, I could see where it'd be, I would feel like, well, shit, now I'm just kind of a little attached to this freight train, and I'm the caboose, and I'm just going wherever this guy's career takes us.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I always felt that for, like, she would come with me on a lot of those early movies. Everything was happening so fast that we were just kind of like bouncing around. I mean, we lived together, but yeah, there was never any close calls of like, we're not going to do this anymore or anything. It's been harder since we've had kids, because then she can't, like, getting these movies would be like an adventure. It'd be like her and I would get to go to some other country or some other place to live and have some kind of cool experience. And then once I had kids, it was like she couldn't just come with me. And so then, like, I would find myself, even on the coolest movie, being in some weird purgatory where I'm like,
Yeah.
I feel a little weird about like going out, but I'm also just bored, and you know,
Yeah,
and
you almost want to not let yourself enjoy it.
yeah, exactly.
Right.
I felt that pretty hardcore on Alien when we did that in Australia, and it was kind of like a little bit of a turning point for me because I'm like, I don't know if I can do this as a career. It's like, this is kind of crazy to be gone from my kids and my wife for like 4 months. It's like,
Yeah.
so much changes, and that was like part of what influenced me to like get down to Charleston. I'm like, you know what? We can like work down there. Every time I've ever shot anything, we've always had to go back to shoot it somewhere else. Like they're never giving us enough money to shoot things in LA. So we always are having to find like a tax incentive.
Yeah.
And David Green and myself were like, well, you know, that was just part of the reason. Like, let's just go try to work somewhere where we don't have to like uproot our whole lives and like miss out on so much of what's happening with our kids. And
Yeah.
Alien was pretty tough because that's like a dream job to work with Ridley Scott on a movie and a franchise like that. And I found myself like loving the working experience, and then just like, but having to do like a ton of soul searching about what I was doing.
Yeah, right. Because you're like, it's a great privilege to get as many things as you dreamt of. So I recognize it's such an enormous gift to be able to find out that maybe your dream in life isn't as important as you thought your dream
100%.
was. Right?
It's odd, yeah.
Were you a huge fan of that?
Of
Alien? Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, that was insane. I mean, like, you know,
You were great in that.
Oh, thanks a
Because
lot.
you know it's fun when you go like see a comedian take that swing. You're like, okay, how's this gonna go?
is he going to be the one who ruins the whole movie?
Yeah, totally. There's always that risk, you know.
It's insane. And then like I was just like, man, I want to be in the zone. I'm not trying to bump the tone of this thing. I got to figure out how to like fit into this. And then like Ridley's like, yeah, we cast James Franco as Catherine Waterston's husband who dies in the beginning. I'm like, fuck, my first scenes on this thing have to be with Franco. It's like, it's gonna be so hard to shake the idea that I'm just like one of the crew members.
Yeah. Well, you're waiting for one of you to pull a joint out or something. And then you also, right, there's probably a voice in your head. I don't know if like my favorite comedians that have transitioned into drama is like Bill Murray's The High Watermark, where he doesn't pretend he's not Bill Murray.
Yep.
He doesn't like try to, you know, knock down everything interesting about himself or quirk of his. He like embraces still who he is, yet pulls it off. So I would imagine part of you was going like, no, I still got to be Danny. Like I got to find some level that's the right level.
100%. It's like I would often think about how filmmakers, the choices they make in longevity, but with actors, because I didn't have any interest in doing it, I never thought about some sort of roadmap of like, well, how do you do it? Gia, my wife, her uncle is Cheech Marin.
No.
Yeah, and so like
that explains the mushrooms in Utah.
yeah, exactly. You know, I met him at like when we were even dating. I'd meet him at like Thanksgiving or Easter with their family. And then as I started finding success, like talking to him, he like told me this thing. He's like, yeah, you know, enjoy it, make the right choices. He's like, comedians have about 7 movies. That's about what you get. And I'm like, man, I never thought about that. And then I started kind of thinking about the guys I like. I'm like, I guess that is about what it is. You know, like you get about 7 movies and then people have kind of seen what you do and they're ready for somebody new. But when you kind of started looking at it that way, I was like, well, how about the guys who had more than 7? Like, what do they do? You know, and even just somebody like John Goodman, who's in Gemstones, it's like you look at him and it's like, man, it's a pretty insane career.
Oh, one of the best.
And the idea that he's been in so many funny things, and then he can be in the Coen brothers, and even he was in TV when TV wasn't cool. I mean, he was able to go from Roseanne and then still be in Arachnophobia and like all these other summer blockbusters. Yeah, he's keep it up.
This was what I was wondering when I was watching it last night. Do you get Wait, before I even ask this question, because I'll forget. On Tropic Thunder, Nick Nolte. Were you like, give me Nick Nolte? Let me talk to him about 48 Hours. What was happening at his prime? Were you interested in that at all?
100%. You know, I spent almost all my time on that movie with Nick Nolte because he and I were in all the scenes together. And the way that movie worked is, it was long. We were in Kauai for like 3.5 months or something. It was crazy. And the way that worked is it was such a fast-moving machine. There were so many parts. Like, every single day you were on call. They never told you if you were really going to work or not because, like, if there was weather or whatever, they would change things. But in Kauai, like, the only place you get cell phone reception is basically at the hotel. Like, if you want to go do anything, there's not really reception out there. So you had these like long periods of time where you're basically just like stuck in a hotel room where everyone else is on vacation having fun, and you're just kind of like waiting to see if you're going to have to go into work and do
Walk
your
through
thing.
the back of a scene.
Yeah. And so Nick was staying in the same hotel I was, and we were on the same schedule. So as the movie went on, it would be like my phone rang, like, have you heard from him? And I'm like, no. I was like, do you want to go snorkeling? He was awesome. Like, he had so many crazy stories.
Oh, he
and,
must have the best.
He had this one story that I thought was so fucking funny. He was telling me about, like, back in the day, it was in the 70s sometime, and he was at this party, and Cassavetes was there, and he, like, really wanted to, like, introduce himself to him, but he was just too nervous to do it. So he, like, okay, I'll take a shot, then I'll go introduce myself. And takes 2, takes 3, takes 4, he gets into it, and then he gets too drunk to go introduce himself, and he never goes and introduces him. So then, like, years later, he's like at another party, and Cassavetes is there, and he's like, all right, I'm gonna go finally introduce myself. So he goes up to him and tells him, it's been one of my biggest regrets that we were at this party and I never introduced myself. And Cassavetes like, what are you talking about? We like fucking party until the sun came up.
I was on the back of your motorcycle for half the night. Oh man, that's the best. So my first movie, Burt Reynolds was in, and he's my all-time favorite. And so every day at lunch, I was the annoying. I was like 28, I think, on that movie. I'd go knock on his fucking door of his trailer. It all culminated with him telling me a story about he and Hal Needham were roommates in Santa Monica, and Hal came home one day from some job, and he comes in. He's like, Burt, you got to take me to the hospital. I broke my back. And Bert's like, I don't think you broke your back. You don't think you'd be able to walk or whatever. He's like, but just take me to the fucking hospital. So he takes him into the hospital in Santa Monica. They put him in the little gown and everything. They give him an x-ray. And they conclude, yes, he has broken his back. And he's got some fluid in his lung. And so I guess Hal was flirting with the nurse. They're going to have to take fluid out of Hal Needham's lung. So the doctor's going to put a needle in his back. And then he's asked the nurse to hold his legs in case he collapses. And the doctor puts the needle in his back, into his lung, and Hal Needham completely shits himself in the hospital gown while the nurse is holding his legs.
Oh, God.
I was like, of all the places I thought this story was going, he's like laying all these like little breadcrumbs about he's flirting with the nurse, and the doctor's getting annoyed. I'm like, okay, this is going to be like Hal's going to ask her out at the end of this story, and the doctor's going to say we're having an affair. No, Hal's shit on a
Diarrhea
nurse.
story.
Yes, on a nurse with Burt Reynolds in the room sitting on the fucking little bed. How lucky are we to
get these nuggets?
these nuggets. Of all the movies you did, this is the end. I thought that was one of the scenes where I was like, oh, they fucking turned him loose and he just delivered something that couldn't be written. That's just the greatest. I mean, all the jerking off and throwing and all that stuff. Is there a high point as far as all those movies you did in that stretch?
That movie felt like that was the end of that chapter in a way. It's like they don't really like make those movies as much anymore. And so in some ways, I mean, I don't think we knew it at the time, but it felt like it was the end of that chapter when I kind of look back on it. Like that was sort of that period of those films when, I'm sure it's like when I first was getting going, it was like it wasn't uncommon for like a rated R movie for a studio to spend like $60-70 million on one,
Yeah.
And then like by the end of that decade, you're lucky if they'll spend like $5 million. So it was just this period where they were letting people just do wild shit and rated R shit, and it's just not the same anymore.
Yeah. Then it kind of turned right after that, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Stay tuned for more Armchair Expert, if you dare.
Says something about you that you were invited into all these comedy circles. There's little camps, and you kind of just migrated back and forth between all of them. And did you feel lucky about that?
I felt completely lucky and just kind of like just grateful. I mean, just grateful to be able to be invited into that and to be able to participate and be able to give in the platform to say fucking wild shit and to be crazy. And You know, I love those guys. I love Seth and Evan and that whole crew. I mean, I had a blast working with them on all that stuff. Pineapple Express, This Is the End. I mean, because it's the beginning of the career, you like look at it and assume like every job is like this. And then you kind of realize how rare that was and how special that was to be a part of something like that.
And then I bet on some level, while it's all happening, you're like, I love this. I'm grateful. I also want to be doing this. Like, I want to be Seth and Evan. I want to be doing my thing.
Yeah,
but you were already doing Eastbound throughout all that, right?
You know, and it would be like in between Eastbound, David would go do movies, Jody would go direct commercials or work on other stuff. So the acting was sort of my thing I could go do in between the times when I got to work with my buddies. And then doing it and showing up in other people's camps or other directors, it was also just like educational. It's like you're coming out of these different camps and seeing how everybody works and borrowing things that seem like applicable to what we're doing. And just what I do with Jody and David, it's also one of those things like that stuff was like never planned out. Like we didn't plan out like we're going to continue to make TV shows with us three making them. It's just been this sort of organic thing that like
we're going to spend the next 14 years at HBO.
Yeah, exactly. It's just kind of like it just keeps happening and none of us are tired of it. And we stay busy enough with other things that it's almost just like a treat. It's fresh air to be able to step into the ring together and get to just fuck around and laugh like we used to when we were in college and just trip out on the fact that we're still able to do it.
That's the actual thing that people should be super jealous of, and that's the thing that delivers tenfold, right? The ability to choose who you're working with and who you're spending your life with and who you're sharing all this stuff with is like one of the most unique
that's it.
gifts of this whole thing. So you do 4 seasons of Eastbound and Down, and while you're doing it, do you get like itchy, like, oh, I like this thing, but it's making me realize I want to do this thing? Like, is it?
You also just start getting in your head about, you know, like I said earlier, like I didn't really care if people thought I was Kenny Powers or not, but I didn't want to make that like affect what sort of opportunities I had, you know?
Yes.
So I would start getting in my head as an actor suddenly, and I'm not really prepared to like look at myself as an actor, so I'm in deep water and that I don't really know how to navigate. And I'm just starting to notice, I'm like, all these roles I'm being offered, I never have sleeves in any of them. Like, you start zeroing in on these like traits of like, fuck, what is this? Why can't any of my fucking characters have long sleeve shirts? Why are they always have fucking cut off denim? And it's like, so it did become this thing of like, I need to not show up as like the best friend that wears jean shorts. I need to like put that chapter behind me.
And so what specifically when you went into Vice Principals where you're like, this is my chance to do X, Y, or Z?
With that, it was the idea of, you know, we really liked Eastbound, but what would happen with Eastbound is, you know, you would do a season, there'd be so much time in between seasons as well that like you'd go off and do another movie or something, and then you would come back for the season, and it would take such a long time to kind of get your head back into the characters and doing it again. And then even as the seasons went on, instead of coming up with like what the best idea is, you're just trying to come up with what you haven't done before. It was making the writing harder. So we were ready just to kind of start brand new and do something different. We weren't ready to kind of like settle into the show that we wanted to like seriously commit to the next like decade of our lives or anything. We wanted to just do something different.
Yeah.
And so we went into HBO and
like a palate cleanser.
Exactly. And that's what Vice Principals was, is like we pitched it with an end. And we gave them the whole entire thing, and we're like, "This is all that the show is. Just these 18 episodes. That's it. We want to shoot it all at once." They were
beaten out or entirely written?
We wrote them all before we shot, and so we entered that process like with the whole thing, you know.
Yeah, that's cool, right?
And it was helpful for the actors. Everybody knew where it was going and what was going on, and we'd make adjustments as we shot. But yeah, it was kind of cool to go in and try something totally different. It weirdly took all this pressure off of us because we were following up Eastbound. There was this idea of like, we were thinking a little too much in our heads of like, whoa, is this going to be too much like Kenny Powers? Or is this character going to be, is this Stevie? Is it, you know, we're just like, once again, instead of like writing what was true, we're sitting here trying to just like make sure it's not the same.
Not certain things.
Yeah. We just like use that as a way of like motivating ourselves, cleaning the palette, and just like creating this other world with these other characters. And it relieves some of that sophomore slump pressure, I think.
Eastbound's definitely episodic. Like, I don't need to see episode 4 to enjoy episode 7, right? And for people who don't know what episodic and serial is, like Friends is episodic. Each episode, the title of it's the thing they're going to handle that day. Mm-hmm. And then serialized is fucking House of Cards. Like you got to see every episode. So to me, it seems like it's been inching towards, and now The Righteous Gemstone seems very, very serialized.
Very serialized, yeah. That's a hard show to drop into in the middle, I think. But that's kind of what's exciting about it, I guess, is that it all comes back around to that idea of feeling a little lost in the world of features, about being able to get that material through. The idea that suddenly you have like 5 hours to tell a story.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, you can be way more unexpected. People aren't going to see every beat coming because you're following some 3-act, 90-minute structure. You can really start going out there and getting even crazier with what you're doing.
Yeah, but it's a little more intimidating, isn't it, as a writer? Because I'm sure you're watching all these shows I am where it's like, holy shit, it added up to that, and they fucking planted that there. That was amazing. Did you bring some outsider in that had some experience with a really good serial? Did you add anyone to the mix? Or
No, just kind of like, that's kind of always been my strong suit, is like structure. Like, it's the part of writing that I've always liked the most. It's like just figuring out how something lays out. It's almost like just creating a mixtape and like figuring out like where all the ups and downs are going to be and how you're going to bring it back around at the end. Yeah. I've always liked that. And so I think that's why I've been into writing for TV, is that you look at those episodes and you just like, to me, I see like a weird, beautiful mind Venn diagram where I'm just like trying to connect all these dots.
Do you use a board and cards? What do you?
Yeah, I use index cards usually is what I do. Is I'll just like beat things out, but then we'll start writing and we'll beat out the index cards enough to give us confidence that like it's heading somewhere, and then we'll just start writing and then just do it, and then it completely changes with every episode you write.
Because you like identify potential runners and stuff.
Exactly,
and little payoffs,
general arcs for characters, or what you kind of want to build to. Who's going to be the bad guy, who's going to like have some redemption, just like these general ideas.
Yeah.
And then as you kind of start writing it, they start to reveal which ones work and which ones don't.
And then the other pattern that seems to be emerging is that visually you're spending more time on it visually. Is that accurate?
Yeah, for sure. Like with this, I feel like part of the scope of the show was like needed to make the world feel real.
Yeah, 100%.
Like I wanted these guys to feel like they really, like they're good at being televangelists and they really do have real success. And I just thought it would make the comedy of the stuff that they were doing just seem that much crazier, that they like have this gigantic audience. And I didn't want it to be like they're the most successful televangelist family and then we shoot it on some shitty stage in a community theater that doesn't really look like it has scope,
Oh God, I think it's everything. It's like in Godfather, if they're at a pizzeria the whole time calling shots, versus you go to that house in Lake Tahoe and you're like, oh, this is
what
like old money shit. This is the real thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the scope of your show is like huge. Those houses, is that stuff all in North Carolina or South Carolina?
Yeah, it was all in Charleston, South Carolina. Yeah.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, so we shot all around there, and the church, the mega church, it's the Coliseum in North Charleston. That's where we built that church, and it was really funny because when we were in production, we had to push all of that stuff in the mega church till the very end of the season because the ice hockey team is like playing in there. And then it was like the ice hockey team like made the playoffs. And if they suddenly went any further, our production would be fucked up. So we weren't rooting against the local hockey team.
And probably something you told HBO, like, there's no worry. The hockey team's not
this
like
is
they're going to
a hockey team in South Carolina. Nobody here plays hockey. Yeah. And they kicked ass that season.
Now, I remember reading, I guess this was probably like 10, 12 years ago, that the Charlotte Hornets arena had been sold to some evangelists. Do you remember that?
That does sound familiar.
They had 20-some thousand people attending that service on Sundays, and that's kind of when I started getting fascinated with it, and then finding out like, oh, these dudes have private jets.
Oh yeah.
Some of these, like we looked up the Joel Olstein or something. What was it, Rob? He's doing 45,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, 45,000 parishioners a week are coming through.
That's absolutely insane, isn't it? It's crazy. I mean, if the guys who can do it, I mean, it's an insane business model.
It's like $100 million kind of
tax-free.
Tax-free. God bless. And you grew up Baptist?
I did. I grew up going to a Baptist church. My parents were both like really involved in the church. My mom did puppet ministry. She would minister to the children with puppets and. So I watched all of that stuff like for years. I was like, we always lived at church. I never liked going. When I was a kid, I would pretend like I was sleeping as the family got up for church, just like hoping that they would have forgotten about me and that like it would be too late for me to get a shower and get dressed and they would let me stay home. But that never worked one time.
Is it safe for me to assume you're not a practitioner of any religion?
Our like adventure with religion was like, we went hardcore. I mean, like we were there all the time. My parents were so involved in it. And then my parents got divorced when I was in 6th grade, and my dad kind of ran out on us. And suddenly it was like, here's my mom who works in a department store at the mall She's got 2 kids. We're living in an apartment, and you're thinking like, maybe this church that we've donated all this time to will be supportive. And instead, the people there like basically like turned their back on my mom. They shamed her for getting a divorce. And so, I was little. I think I was in 6th grade when this happened. But I can remember like seeing my mom and like knowing how much the church meant to her, and now she just didn't even feel like she could enter the church. And so for a few months, she still would drop me and my sister off at church on Sundays to go. And we did it. And then after a few months, it was kind of like, what are we doing? Like, why are we going to this place every Sunday? Like, it's not, it's done. And then we just never went back. And then that was kind of the end of it. And I remember distinctly having like mixed feelings about that, even at that age, where I dread it going to church. I hate it sitting in those sermons for an hour, not being able to do anything and having to just sit there and listen and just like draw pictures. And
so uncomfortable.
So uncomfortable. But then that feeling that you would have when it was over and just knowing that like, yes, the whole day's ahead. And then there was like, when we stopped going, I had this weird, like, I kind of missed it. Like I kind of missed being forced to do something I didn't want to do for an hour. And when I could suddenly just sleep in on Sunday mornings, Sundays, like that afternoon Sunday wasn't quite as special anymore.
Yeah, it's like we as a species have this kind of implicit desire to repent. Mm-hmm. Like you want to go somewhere and then be like, yeah, I suffered and now I can stop hating myself.
I can go chill.
Beating the shit out of myself. I did it. Now I'm good for 2 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some aspect of that I did like about it. Now, the thing I wanted to do years ago was, do you remember the Power Team? Did you ever?
Oh, yeah. They would like,
you saw them.
They would like rip telephone books in half.
Books in half. They'd handcuff Monica. The Power Team would go like fire up churches. They were like basically a touring road group, and they were all these muscle men. They would handcuff each other together and they couldn't get out. And then they would recite some scripture. And then the fucking guy would jump up and kick the other guy in the chest. And they would break the handcuffs. And like the power of the Lord was obvious and present.
Yeah.
And I, even as an 8-year-old, I was like, I'm not seeing the connection between the Lord
this is a good
and
deal
tearing
here.
a phone book in half. And then even better is these guys, most of them were they claimed ex-steroid and cocaine abusers. And they'd give their whole life story as a testimony to like, look how good life is now that I found the Lord. And they would be like, I was doing 14 ounces of cocaine a week. And they'd get a little too dark.
To church youth groups.
And then they would fucking, like, one of the ways they demonstrate the power of the Lord is they just break chairs over each other's backs. I mean, none of it made sense.
Wow.
And I desperately wanted to do a show about being a Power Team member and like still being gacked up and shit. And but funny enough, when I had that idea, I was with Jimmy Miller for like, I don't know, a year, maybe he was my manager. And I was like, he's like, I love it, but he's like, I don't know, good luck. Like selling something about religion still dicey. And do you feel like it's like there just really has, I guess there was big love, but certainly there had to be talks like, are they allowed to tackle this?
Who knows what will happen? I mean, people get outraged over anything. So, I mean, I'm not fearful of people like being outraged. But there's a part of me where, I kind of understand in some ways why there is an outcry sometimes when Hollywood tackles religion. And I thought I was like watching anything I could of like, well, who else has tried to tackle space in here? I think they make the mistake of like, they like make a joke out of what people believe in.
Yeah.
And I feel like that is just like kind of obnoxious. And it's like, that would piss me off if it's like someone who doesn't understand where I come from or what I believe.
Or the value it's
like,
adding to my life. Yeah.
Like, I think that is wrong to do. So I think with this show, it was like, we're not trying to say anything about what you should believe in or what you shouldn't believe in. We're not trying to comment on the Bible. We're commenting on these like hypocrites who are basically fronting this operation and like basing all their value on like these morals and these ideals, but then not adhering to any of them themselves,
Yes, that's very obvious, right, when you start watching. The validity of the Bible or God or that version of it's not on trial at all. It's just these people that have clearly manipulated this text.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I totally agree. It's like, I am an atheist, but I have zero interest in trying to prove to someone that they don't believe the right thing. I'm like, if someone's happy doing X, Y, or Z, I'm super happy for them.
That's how I believe too, yeah. What I'm curious about is just the town that I live in. Like, I love Charleston. I really love being a part of that community. It's called the Holy City. There's
it is.
Yeah, and like there's downtown, there's no buildings taller than the church steeples. Like you go outside and there's like churches like every mile, on the radio station. It's like every other station is a religious station. But religion plays a big part in the lives of people there. So I am curious of if I'll still be able to like go to restaurants and stuff after the show comes out.
I was trying for moments of the show. I'm like, all right, just imagine right now that I am that is my book, and I believe in all that, and I'm watching it. I still definitely think you're allowing those people to feel in on the joke, that they're not at all being made fun of, which they're not. It's not like you're panning to the audience and going like, look at these idiots gobbling up this bullshit. It's never really about that.
Yeah. And that was important to do. I mean, my mom is still religious. I have like my sister's religious. My aunt is a minister in Atlanta. So like a lot of my family is still very much involved with church. And so they were always in the back of my head. Not that they all like what I do anyway.
Right.
But the idea was like, I understand them. They all have wicked senses of humor and they believe what they believe. I want to make something that they would even understand where this is coming from.
I almost think it could be more funny for them.
Yeah, I think so too. That they would identify. I think that there's more truth there than what people would think.
Yeah, it's absolutely incredible. I can't wait to consume all of it. So you moved down there. We said that. I mean, again, you had your own desires to go do that, and then obviously it was motivated by kids and stuff. What's your anonymity level down there?
Man, you'd be really surprised. It's been like absolutely incredible, I will say. It's
really?
Like, yeah, it's been amazing. Because, when you first get there, I think people are just genuinely excited that you're there and that you're part of the community. And I think, and then after you've been there for a few months, then like people feel a little bit of ownership over you in the sense that like they don't want people to like
They're
bother
protective.
you. Yeah, I find that all the time.
That's nice.
And the people have just been awesome, to tell you the truth. It's just been such a cool place to live. And I wasn't, everything was going fine for me out here.
Yeah.
I have a lot of friends here. The weather's great. But I just found myself that like when I wasn't working, I really didn't know what the fuck to do with myself. And once kids were getting involved, it just became so much like harder to figure out like how to just have an existence. It's like, well, we can go to Griffith Park together and, or we can arrange a play date with someone who lives 40 minutes away from here. And everything just became so scheduled and kind of like we were just bending over backwards to kind of find some kind of normalcy. And then I got there and it's just been so grounded and normal and fun.
And
my kids like walk out our front door and get on bikes and just like cruise down the road.
How old are they?
My son's 7, my daughter's 4. And it's like, it's just awesome. And then, I also feel like it puts in perspective the career too. Like when I was here, I would drive down the road and I would see billboards and it would make me stressed out about like, fuck, it's been a while since I've been on one of those. I need to get to work, and and then there you kind of realize like none of this shit really matters that much. It's we get really in our heads about it, and it's important to do your best at what you want to do, but you don't
need to eat, sleep, live it.
Yeah, and like even when you make something that doesn't work, it's like no one here's keeping tally of that. These people are just living their lives and working.
Dude, if you never worked again, it would be very fucking impressive, as it should be.
Yeah, like I don't know. It's good to keep that in perspective. It makes you not beat yourself up so much about the stuff that doesn't work and the stuff that does.
And is the 4-year-old? I have a 4-year-old daughter. And it's getting outrageously fun right now because her fucking personality is like thriving.
Popping. Yeah. Yep.
And is she funny?
She's so funny. She's the funniest. I mean, like, they just got in last night here. They flew in separately from me because I had to come early. And so my wife and my son and my daughter got here. They were here for like 2 minutes. I had like 12 hours of press yesterday. I just got home. They entered. My wife left something downstairs in the car, so she had to go down there. And within like 2 minutes, my daughter like pissed on the couch, and my son took like a football-sized shit in the toilet and clogged it. And I'm just trying like, oh, it's so good to see you guys.
Yeah. Thanks for reminding me of my primary purpose immediately.
I'm just cleaning up after you guys.
Yes. Well, Danny.
Wait. Sorry. I wanted to say one thing. I thought maybe you were going to bring it up. When you were on Sam Jones, one thing that we talked about a lot after, because we both loved that episode, was you were talking about reviews and how reviews are kind of bullshit, and you kind of delineated comedy versus drama in a really, I thought, like profound way with its math. And comedy's so specific because you have to like write a joke that then will pay off 3 scenes later, and everyone thinks you're just kind of looking in the mirror and doing funny faces. And it's so not that.
It's not. I feel like it is the hardest of all to do because, I mean, if you sit in a theater where people watching a drama, no one's reacting, you're not assuming that the movie's not working. You're just like, oh, these people, they're feeling it. And you're in a comedy, and if you're in there for 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes and nobody's laughing, it just makes the whole thing implode.
Feel like a failure. Yeah.
Yeah, you're in a ditch you got to climb out of.
Yeah.
Also, there's no tricks in comedy. I can't put the perfect song with the right push in and blah, blah, blah and make the emotion happen with these other devices.
It has to just work. But I mean, it's funny, even just doing press. It's like doing press for Halloween or Alien or this. They just don't give comedy any respect at all. They don't those things are so easy doing a press junket for something that's not a comedy. It's like they work harder on the questions. They have more respect for what it is. And then with comedy, you feel like a lot of times you come in with those reporters and they're like disgusted by you. Just like, ugh.
Yeah.
You
can fake a drama. You just really can't fake a comedy. It's not going to happen. All right. I adore you. I sure hope you'll come back.
Oh,
and
thanks
talk
for having me.
more.
This has been awesome.
All right. Good luck. Everyone watch The Righteous Gemstone. I can't. We're watching more of it tonight. It's so fucking good.
All right. Bye.
And now my favorite part of the show, the fact check with my soulmate, Monica Padman.
Oh,
Did you hear that?
is that your nicotine spray?
Yeah.
You got some.
3 days off dip, girl.
Wow.
I'm on the spray now.
Okay. Well, in a couple episodes,
Oh,
people
right.
will hear when you learned about it.
Yes. We're a little out of order. And more importantly, I would like to welcome everyone to one of our first Moonlight Fact Checks. We all worked today. I had a long day, and here we are after nightfall in the attic. And I like it. The windows are open. You might hear some crickets or some grasshoppers.
Fireflies.
We've heard a lot of helicopters, some hot rods, a couple dirt bikes.
Do you think fireflies make noise?
No, I don't think they do.
The sound
Remember
of
we were
their
just
light turning on and off. Tiny
The
sounds.
sound of their light turning on and off. Do you think it sounds like a light switch?
Tiny.
Or like in a movie when a light bulb comes on, it's like,
Yeah, it's like that.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
So keep your ears peeled.
I'll tell you who's hearing a lot of those fireflies is Daniel McBride. Because he's down there in South Carolina.
Oh my God.
home
Heaven.
home of the lightning bug.
That's right.
What were you calling? Firefly. I guess you can go either way. You can go lightning bug or firefly.
Yeah.
I think
I wonder
always,
if it's regional.
I said lightning bug. What did you say?
I guess I said firefly because that's what came out naturally.
Sure. It was very natural. Very organic.
Do you like your spray?
I do like my spray.
Really? Do you feel like it gives you the same whatever?
You know what it does is it prevents me from being agitated, but no, it doesn't give me the same kick in the ass that a big lip full of the Hagen did. But again,
But what about the mints? Was it the same as the mints?
well, the mints, fuck up my skin, so I can't take those. I like the mints more because they're dissolving for 20 minutes. So my assumption is, I'm getting nicotine the whole 20 minutes. The gum, I don't know where to put the gum. I start chewing it. I'm like, is the nicotine gone after a minute? You know when you chew a
Yeah.
piece like a hubba bubba?
Yes.
And the flavor can be gone. Well, I don't want to talk disparagingly.
Well, look, all gums, you run out of flavor quick.
Yes, all of them. Hubba bubba.
Trident.
Bubblicious.
Oral
B.
B.
No. Oragel. No.
Oh, what's the one with the O?
We love
Orbit.
it.
Orbit. Thank you.
Thank you, Bobby. Wow. And you and I are kind of partial to bubblegum flavor.
Yeah, the pink flavor.
Oh, that's nice.
I kind of want to try it.
Oh, pink flavor?
No, you're
Oh,
nicotine
this?
spray.
You can. You want to try it?
No, I'm
It'd be
scared of it.
A little high risk to try it for the first time.
I've
while
never
recording.
had nicotine in my life.
Ever?
I don't think so. I've never smoked a cigarette.
What about when you drank out of my spit cup? Sorry.
I
Trigger,
did
trigger
not
warning.
do that.
I'm
You
teasing.
did that.
I drank out of your spit cup. Not a trigger warning.
Still a trigger warning, actually way grosser
I was
because we don't
fine
need
with
to
it.
get into it.
I didn't care.
Had phlegm in there.
There's where it gets
Well,
gross. When
they
you use that
needed to
word.
know.
No, everyone knows if you have a spit cup what the contents are.
Did you know, Rob?
I didn't know that
Yeah,
was
see,
phlegm.
see, yeah.
I stand corrected.
Yeah, no one
Real-time
knows
fact
unless
check.
you I guess I'll try it on a low risk moment.
Yeah, somewhere where you know you can, if necessary, lie down and take 5.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that makes me scared.
I don't recommend it. It's not.
Really?
No, I don't. I'll tell you why. I can remember having my first cigarette on my buddy J. Rob's driveway.
Yeah.
I had him in junior high, but I don't think I was really inhaling. But in
Okay.
10th grade, I banged back a Marlboro Red, and I was like, oh, this doesn't feel that good. And then 20 minutes later, I wanted another one.
Ugh.
And then it starts feeling good because you want it.
Yeah,
But it's not
but
a
the
great-
actual feeling itself is not good.
It's not
What
it's
is
not a
wrong
great-
with everybody?
It's not a great buzz. It's not a quality buzz.
Okay.
Of all the buzzes I promote, this is low on the list.
And the one you're most addicted to.
Yeah.
Anyway, fireflies.
Fireflies, South Carolina, Daniel. Daniel
Danny
Tiger.
is so cool.
Yeah, he's ultra cool.
I want him to be my friend.
Oh, what about your boyfriend? I mean, I know he's married, but in
he's
a world,
married.
but in a world where
And he
he's
has
not married
kids.
and he doesn't have kids.
It's hard for me to do that.
Yeah, I'm not going to try to put you in that position.
Thanks.
I would date him. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah.
He's so chill, huh?
Yeah, he was cool.
We love him, huh?
Yeah.
We're kind of like,
Obsessed with that.
yeah,
Are
with
we
the Fonz.
stalkers?
We think he's the Fonz.
Yeah. I just want him to like us and call us and text us and put us in his cool shit.
I know. Do you know I did the most embarrassing thing? I hesitate to admit it on here.
What?
Well, I was finishing up Righteous Gemstones. Uh-huh. And what I didn't talk about in this episode, which I was so pissed about, is the music is so great. And I'm really obsessed with music and movies. I think it's maybe the most important thing for me. Mm-hmm. So I was finishing up the Righteous Gemstones, and here's what I did. This is so
dancing?
embarrassing.
Oh my God, I'm so nervous.
I emailed him.
Again. Okay.
Yeah. Again. And I said, hey, bro. Hey, cool guy. Fucking love the music. Wait till this turn. You're gonna have chills. I go, oh my God, the music's so good, blah, blah, blah. I mean, and I go into like what I like about it is it's stanky. It's fucking stanky.
Okay.
It's like dirty. And I said it would pair well with cocaine and whiskey. And then I said, and I owned it. I said, I'm embarrassed to say this, but I really want you to see Hit and Run because the music, just the music, I want you to see that we have the same musical taste. I really need him to think we have something in common. Isn't that so embarrassing? I hit send and I immediately, if I could have hit delete and taken it away.
Why
I
don't
would-
they have that button, by the way? That's crazy that they don't in 2019.
Well,
They do.
They do?
A Gmail. If you go on the browser,
Unsend?
it has undo for a little bit. You might have to activate it though.
Oh.
I'm going to look into that.
I could see where this though would be a tricky slope for some people. That I could see people spending their whole lives writing and deleting emails.
That's true.
Because all of us get a little pang of, we're begging someone to watch something we made.
Yeah.
That's
most
relatable,
people
right?
know about that. Yeah.
So they can see that I have cool musical
No, but
taste.
people can relate
how
to
embarrassing.
wanting other people to like you and
Yeah.
doing some extreme things to get people's approval.
Yeah.
Did he respond?
He did. Super
Oh,
cool.
good.
Yeah, man, I'll check that out. I mean, didn't even ignore it. I was like, here's what he's going to do. He's going to read it and he's going to ignore it. Because how do you even respond to that? Cool, dude, I'll check out your movie. Really what I wanted to say was like, just get the soundtrack.
Okay, still.
That's even weirder.
Yeah,
I don't even know if this soundtrack is available. I don't know if my movie has a soundtrack or what.
I'm sure it does. And I don't want you to be embarrassed.
Okay.
I don't like it when you're embarrassed.
But
no, but I don't want you to be embarrassed. And it's okay. He liked you.
I don't know though, did he?
Yeah, but I don't-
Well, okay, here's what I want. I want him. Of course, he liked me, fine. But I want him to connect on a deeper level,
know.
where he's like, "Ooh, we have the same stanky rhythm.
I know.
We like that naughty music."
I know.
You know?
I know, but
'Cause I feel like
you
that's-
want him to just find it organically.
But I'm afraid he's not going to. Why would he ever take the time to watch that movie?
I know he
7
might
years
not.
old.
He might not ever do it.
Yeah,
But
I don't expect him to at all.
no, I mean, well now he's probably like, oh God, I gotta watch it, and then I gotta email him back.
It's
By the way,
fitting.
Hit and Run is an incredible movie. So if he watches
you.
it, he'll like it. And
The music is fantastic, which I didn't write the music, so it's not even like, what I don't even know what I'm bragging about. I'm not even bragging. I really just want him to know we have the same taste.
but
in
that's
music.
the okay, yes, and I'll just be honest. That's the problem. You're not bragging, but
Is bragging?
it's like up against the line.
Uh-huh.
It could come off braggy.
Yeah. He's being very gracious with me so far because I've had a few emails and I need to just stop now.
Maybe we
I
should
gotta
send
wait
him
to-
one more and say,
I'm not going to just send him one that says I'll no longer be
I'm not going to send you any
initiating-
more emails.
I'm not going to initiate any more communication with you. I'll take your lead.
I'm going to download the unsend button. This makes me like him even more.
That he was gracious with
Yeah.
my unsolicited request that he bond with me on music.
It's cute. It's
Okay,
cute.
okay.
You want him to like you so
I really
bad.
do. I do.
Like-
I'm not even asking to be in his shit. I mean, I would love
I
to.
am.
I would love
God.
to. But I just want to, sit on the porch with him, maybe start dipping again.
No.
And just
what?
okay.
You just
Sorry, I'm over it. Just relax in Charleston. Did you hear me panicked saying Charleston? I always want to say Charlotte. CHR.
I get that.
And then where was the white nationalist demonstration? Charlottesville.
Charlottesville.
Charlottesville. So those three together give me tremendous anxiety
That is a lot to balance.
for more than one reason, obviously.
Well, definitely the Charlottesville situation.
Yeah.
Okay, so you know what? If
Hmm.
I have a boy, I'm going to put him in karate.
Oh, because you've heard a couple good stories now.
Yeah, all these cool people did karate.
Maybe
and
that's
then
where
they
that-
end up cool.
And comfortable in their own skin.
Yes.
That's kind of the things that those two, Seth and he, have in common.
That's right. Did we figure it out?
Hmm. I think we just cracked the code. They're selling themselves as like a self-defense program. That should not be what they're advertising. You want to be chill in your own exoskeleton?
Confident,
Chill as
gracious
fuck,
to
hilarious.
emails.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do karate.
Actually, they are both gracious. Seth is also really, really generous.
Yeah. It's no wonder they're friends and work together.
Yeah, makes sense. Okay, so Land of the Lost.
Mm-hmm.
And he said no one liked it. But
You found some people that liked it?
68.8 million. I mean, the budget was 100.
Oops.
So it's not great.
Yeah, I mean,
But that's
look,
still kind of a lot nowadays.
absolutely. Again,
Yeah.
any movie I've been on the poster of did not make 66 million. So that's a good number.
Yeah.
But again, I think it was Will Ferrell had like, I don't know, 9 $20 million openers in a row or
Yeah,
something, and that underperformed. For
Yeah.
him,
sure.
that's the problem when you become the greatest. Bar is high.
That's true. There's nowhere to go but down.
Mm-hmm.
Sad.
I feel so bad for the people at the top.
I do. Well, no. Depends. I can
If
feel
they
bad
were-
for some of their stuff,
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
but they do have a lot of money and are doing great.
I feel all kinds of bad stuff for him, but maybe just not a ton of sadness over career hiccups.
That's fair.
Just career.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I want him to win.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I want Will Ferrell to win. Every time he's up to bat, I want him to hit a grand slam.
Sure.
But if he doesn't hit a grand slam, big
It's
whoop.
not that big of a
You
deal.
know,
That's true.
yeah.
Stakes are not all that high.
No, sure feels like it to him though.
Yeah, of course. So I thought it was interesting because he said that they thought Fist Fit Way, they thought they were like kind of making like a Scorsese or an Altman film or something.
Yes, yes.
Which I've never seen it.
Oh, you haven't?
No, I mean, I've seen parts and clips and
You'll love it. Definitely worth owning on iTunes.
okay,
Mm.
I will. Anyway, I just thought that was interesting because you just don't know what your thing is sometimes.
You don't. You often try to make something
You
one
get something
thing,
else.
and then it goes through your filter and it becomes its own thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. I think it's cool. I'm going to download it. So, Crimson Tide, Quentin Tarantino wrote some of that.
Did a punch up, I think.
Yeah, he rewrote some of the dialogue. And his main
Contribution?
section, yeah, was the Silver Surfer speech.
Oh, okay.
Do you know what that is?
Hit me with it.
Okay, should I read the whole thing?
Well, how long is it?
Kind of long.
All right, let's hear it.
No, it's okay. I won't. But it's about Silver Surfer. I don't know what that is, Silver Surfer.
That's a cartoon character.
Oh, okay. So
Superhero.
I guess two people were in a fight, and then the officer brought one of the other guys in. And,
Gene Hackman probably brought in Denzel Washington.
okay, and then is scolding him about the fight, but then they're also talking about Silver Surfer. It does sound very Tarantino.
Yes. And then there was a whole thing, we touched on it in the episode, there was this whole thing about, it got racial between the two of them.
Yeah, but I didn't see that.
Yeah, so Gene Hackman basically says, do you know of these horses? They're the greatest horses in the world, blah, 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 and they're all white.
Yeesh.
Yeah, and Denzel says, yeah, I do know those horses. You know, they're born black.
Also
It was
very
cool.
Tarantino.
Yeah,
to
very
do something
Tarantino.
racial.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, anywho. So he said his wife's uncle is Cheech Marin. That's Cheech and Chong.
Cheech and Chong.
Yeah.
Up in smoke.
I didn't know who he was talking about until I thought about it later, and I was like, oh, clearly Cheech and Chong. But I was like, Cheech Marin, I don't know what that is.
Ah, and of course you know what Cheech and Chong is, but I can't imagine you've ever seen any
I have
Cheech and Chong.
not.
I mean, the whole movie's about weed, and they even they drive a van, I think, in one of the films that's entirely made of marijuana.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
Before it was legal, way
long.
before.
Way back.
Oh.
Yeah, so I think it's the original key stoner comedy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you said you thought the Charlotte Hornets Arena, Charlotte, callback, sold to some evangelist group. It wasn't Charlotte. It was the Houston Rockets.
Oh, okay.
And it became Lakewood Church, which is Joel Osteen's. Also, it's Osteen.
It's not Olstein?
No.
Come on.
I typed that in and that was wrong. But I also thought it was.
Joel Osteen?
Yeah,
Fuck, that sounds wrong.
I know.
That was
but that's
Joel
what it is.
Olstein all the way.
I know.
Go Rockets.
So you said like you thought he had 45,000 parishioners a week and $100 million, whatever. So he is seen by over 7 million viewers weekly
Wow.
and over 20 million monthly in over 100 countries.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. He is crushing.
He's the pastor of Lakewood Church, the former home of the NBA Houston Rockets. Crazy, right?
Did you get a net worth on this turkey?
No.
I guess they got to hide it all, right? He can't.
I don't think they can, yeah, because
Yeah.
it's all tax.
Share it. Well,
They're probably not saying how much they're keeping. How
right.
much they're a lot.
I got a hunch they're living high on the hog. That's my guess.
I would guess so.
Yeah, without
yeah.
any kind of
Facts.
paper trail or facts.
Yeah.
It says 40 to 60 million. But
That sounds light to me.
Yeah.
That sounds real light.
His house is worth 10.5 million.
Oh, then
yeah.
definitely more than that. Then
Yeah. Unless he's a spendthrift.
he could be like me.
Yeah.
Spend a lot of his
easy
money.
come, easy go.
Yeah.
In one pocket, out the other.
That is all.
That was it?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to do the chicken dance on Main Street.
Oh, that's gonna be your thing, huh?
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm
great.
going to end every episode now by doing the chicken dance on Main Street. Harold was a kitty, but now he's a full-grown cat. All right. Love you.
I love you.